Hello, my name is Aamina Hennings, and I would like to thank all of you who tuned in last week, and I'm so glad you were able to tune in this week. I want to begin by saying that I am not here to give advice, and I want you to know that the things that we discuss, the things that are commented on or posted, they're just little nuggets of information that you can use that can help you along the way. You need to take that information and make it fit you as an individual, because I recognize that everything that works for me does not work for everybody else. We are individuals and we should be treated that way. So you take the ingredients that you get from these videos and you create your own recipe for success. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, tonight's discussion, we're going to be discussing about how we deal with anger and frustration. And so many times I believe that we deal with things that we have had input on, and then also situations that others have had something to do with that we had no control. And so I recognize that there are many decisions that parents make that kids have no control over. And I'm aware that there are some things that kids, adolescents, teens, young adults, those at that age group, that you make those decisions and then you have to deal with the consequences. And so sometimes the things that come along with that may be guilt or even more frustration to pile up on that. But let's think about a few things on tonight. I want to ask you 3 questions. How do you deal with anger? And what do you think is a healthy way of dealing with anger? And are you happy with the way you deal with your frustrations in life and how you react to them? Because those 3 questions right there can let you know whether or not you need to redo how you feel about things and how you work through them, or if you just want to make them better. You know, I'm not saying that we're perfect, but maybe you feel like, you know what, I handle things pretty good. I can just make them a little bit better. So that's the basis of tonight. And I want to let you know that I don't have the magical answer to solve bullying or violence in schools or any of the other negative things that go on. But I will say this: if we look at the big picture and recognize that something had to trigger a person to do something along the way, I believe that we get a better understanding of where they were in life or where they are in life. And then we can feel like, you know what, I get why they did it. We may not agree with it, but we understand that there was some underlying issue that may have triggered them to do what they did. And I want you to understand that your reaction, it's all in you. The way you behave, it's all in you. So no matter what's around you, no matter who's around you, you have to take responsibility for what you do and not point the finger. I have so many kids that come in my office that they want to tell a story. And I ask them, okay, what happened? The first thing that typically comes out of their mouth is, the other person did this, which is why I did that. And sometimes I listen to it, and then there are some times that I say, okay, just stop while you're ahead, and I want you to tell the story with using the word I only. And you focus on what you did, whether it be the reaction, but I don't want to know what the other person did. I want to know what you did. And so when we begin to learn about our frustrations and how we perceive things and how we handle them, I do believe that we are going to find out a lot about ourselves. I actually have an analogy that I use with my kids, and it's one that they get the concept. And if you were to take a bottle of soda and shake it vigorously, if in fact you were to open up the top immediately, what would happen? Exactly. It would explode. You would have a complete mess. That is the same thing that happens when we hold in our emotions, when we hold in our feelings and don't let them out in a healthy way. And so when we look at that bottle of soda, when we consider something healthy, if you had to twist it off slowly and let the air out a little bit at a time versus just popping it open, you're going to get 2 completely different results. And so I want you to remember that. Communication, dealing with frustration, they tie in together and they are a part of each other. And so I encourage you to find someone that you trust, because how a person handles the information you give them, that's a whole nother topic we can discuss. But if you were to find someone that you trusted, someone that you felt comfortable with, someone that you knew in your heart that they had your best interest in mind, and actually begin to share your feelings and not let them pile up situation after situation, frustration after frustration, and it becomes packed down. If in fact you were able to do that in a very healthy way, I do believe that you would be able to feel more relaxed and at ease. Now, I'm a newlywed, and I have enjoyed learning how to communicate with my husband, learning how to say, hey, we need to sit down and talk about this situation. Because if he and I didn't do that, and, Dedrick just said, well, we're just going to let things just pile up, we're never going to talk about them, do you realize the horrible mess we would be in as a married couple? It would be one thing after another, never ever addressing them, and just watching things pile up in order to crumble. Now, if you're building something, even within yourself, even with your friends, if you're building that relationship that they understand this is where this person is coming from, and this is what they want, and this is what they desire to do with their feelings, then it's going to be easier for you to let go and to express yourself. And I want you to learn how to do that, because communication is the key to so many things, including dealing with your frustrations. And if, in fact, we allow those feelings to go out a little bit at a time, don't always focus on the big picture, because sometimes that can be overwhelming. If you get to the point in your life where you feel like, you know what, if I think about it, I'm going to cry, because it's so many things that have taken place in my life that have been horrible, that have been hurtful, I've been rejected. All of those things can cause anger to build, because, sometimes if we allow hurt to sit long enough, it can turn into anger. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to look at life as a way of releasing things in a way that you don't have regrets. So again, release so you don't have regrets. Now, you need to release in a healthy way. So not only are you maybe finding someone that you can talk to, that you can trust, that you can confide in, there may be a person out there who wants a hobby that they can say, you know what, I want to go work out. I've heard people say that all the time. I work out and I feel better after I do that. So choose something that you can do as an individual that works for you. Again, you take these ingredients, you create your own recipe for success. You take that and say, you know what, maybe I want to work out. And that right there, or whatever hobby that you choose to do, it gives you something to do that's positive. You're not out to hurt anyone. You're doing something to help yourself. And that right there, that's something that you can begin to build on. And say, I had a rough day today, but I'm going to do something positive. I want to do something that is productive. So when you do that, you won't have the regret of reacting in a very negative way. Because I'm telling you, if I were to just never ever talk about my feelings with my husband, I'm telling you, I would be a walking time bomb. I don't want you to do that. I want you to take life, be serious about it, but at the same time, you got to enjoy life. Life is not about existing alone, but it is truly about living. And you can't do that if you're holding all of these things in on the inside and never ever letting them go. So to finish this particular video, I want to let you know that to basically find someone that you can talk to, someone that you trust, and recognize what you can do better when dealing with your anger and frustration. Because I believe that all of the people who have experienced negative things, whether it be in school or on their job, violence of any kind, if we were to take a map of their life and look back at last week or last month or last year or years before, we would be able to see something that may have piled up that at that moment they were just ready to explode. So don't be that can of soda that someone has shaken up so much that all of a sudden you explode. You be that person that you can open it up just a little bit at a time and let it out healthy, so then once you're ready to really, really open up, you can enjoy the product inside. So I thank you for tuning in tonight, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.